Welcome, wanderers and dreamers, to Travel Tales, a series of immersive meditative stories designed to whisk you away to the farthest reaches of our world. Today, you'll visit the floating city of Venice. So, sit back, close your eyes, and get ready to explore the world with Travel Tales. The warm, sun-kissed air fills your lungs, signaling your arrival in a world unlike any other. You've seen countless pictures of this city and read novels set against its backdrop, but nothing could quite prepare you for the real thing. As you make your way to the water's edge, a water taxi awaits. You step aboard and the engine purrs softly to life. The journey from the airport to the heart of the city is a blend of excitement and curiosity. As you turn a corner, a breathtaking sight unfolds before your eyes. As if out of a dream, the enchanting city of Venice comes into view. Canals unfurl like liquid ribbons, weaving through the maze of ancient buildings. Sunlight dances upon the water's surface, casting a glow that bathes the scene in ethereal beauty. Your anticipation heightens as the water taxi comes to a graceful halt. You step onto solid ground, ready to create timeless memories in this fascinating city. The hotel, a magnificent edifice of Venetian grandeur, stands with pride. The air is infused with the delicate fragrance of flowers in bloom, mingling with the unmistakable scent of the sea. Inside, the cool marble floors offer respite from the sun's warmth, while antique furnishings whisper stories of countless guests who have crossed this threshold. The strains of classical music fill the air, its mellifluous notes cocooning you in a sense of serenity and luxury. Your chamber, a sanctuary of understated elegance, welcomes you. Stepping onto the balcony, you're greeted by a postcard-perfect view. Gondolas and vaporettas glide gracefully along the canals, their wakes shimmering in the fading light. A gentle breeze ruffles your hair, and you watch as the sun dips below the horizon, creating a warm amber glow. The city comes alive as the street lights flicker to life, and the chatter of people strolling along the canals adds to the evening ambience. You're eager to explore every hidden corner of this magical city. In the distance, you spot the iconic Harry's Bar, a legendary establishment that has become synonymous with Venice's rich history and culture. Its warm lights invite you like a beacon, and with a renewed sense of excitement, you make your way towards this renowned destination. As you enter Harry's bar, the classic decor, furnished with polished mahogany and gleaming mirrors, evokes a sense of nostalgia. The attentive staff greet you with warm smiles, ensuring that your experience is nothing short of exceptional. You find a cozy spot where your waiter enthusiastically explains that the bar quickly gained a reputation as a gathering place for artists, writers, actors, and socialites, becoming a hub of intellectual and creative activity. Its intimate and refined atmosphere attracted a distinguished clientele, including Ernest Hemingway, Charlie Chaplin, and Orson Welles, among others. One of the bar's most serious creations is the Bellini cocktail, invented by Giuseppe Cipriani himself. This delightful concoction, made with fresh peach puree and sparkling Prosecco, has since become an international symbol of splendor and indulgence. Harry's bar is also renowned for popularizing the carpaccio dish, named after the Italian Renaissance painter Vittore Carpaccio. The thinly sliced raw beef, served with a delicate dressing of lemon, olive oil, and Parmesan cheese, has become a classic staple in Venetian cuisine. As you savor each bite and sip, you can't help but appreciate the history that surrounds you. This very place has played host to countless luminaries who have all been captivated by the exquisite flavors and ambience. As you leave the bar, your senses are still tingling with the flavors and ambience that enveloped you. The city has transformed under the cloak of night, with soft hues casting an enchanting glow upon the ancient architecture. You meander through the labyrinthine streets, guided by the gentle glow of lanterns casting shadows on the cobblestones below. The sound of distant laughter and echoing footsteps fills the air, creating a lively symphony that accompanies your nocturnal stroll. The narrow passageways coax you to explore further, revealing hidden treasures at every turn. You catch glimpses of quaint boutiques, their storefronts housing fragile Venetian masks and delicate Murano glass creations, showcasing the craftsmanship for which the city is renowned. As you continue your walk, you pass by small trattorias and cafes, their warm lights spilling onto the cobblestones and inviting passers-by to take refuge and savor the flavors of Venice. The tantalizing aromas of freshly baked bread, rich espresso, and savory Italian delicacies waft through the air, tempting your palate and stirring your appetite once again. You find yourself captivated by the architectural marvels that line the streets. Gothic arches, elegant Renaissance facades, and ornate balconies transport you to another era, a time when Venice flourished as a center of art, culture, and trade. With each step, you feel the weight of time and history embedded in the very foundations of the city. You bid farewell to the bustling streets and retreat into the sanctuary of your hotel. As you crawl into bed, you can feel yourself sinking into a state of peacefulness and calm. You drift off into a deep and restful sleep, dreaming of the beauty and magic of Venice. You awaken slowly, feeling refreshed and rejuvenated from a night of peaceful sleep. As you stretch out your limbs and open your eyes, you can see that the room is filled with a soft golden light. You make your way to the balcony, pulling open the doors and stepping outside. The air is cool and fresh, with a hint of salt from the nearby canal. As you take a deep breath, you notice that the table on the balcony is already set with a beautiful breakfast. There are croissants and pastries, fresh fruit and yogurt, and a pot of steaming hot coffee. The tablecloth is crisp and white, and there's a vase of freshly cut flowers in the center. You pour yourself a cup of coffee and take a sip, feeling the warmth spreading through your body. As you sit down at the table and begin to eat, you can feel the sun starting to rise in the sky. The colors are soft and muted, with shades of pink and orange blending together in a beautiful display. You take your time eating, savoring the flavors and textures of each bite. You can hear the sounds of the city slowly coming to life, with people starting to stir and boats passing by on the canal. As you finish your breakfast, you lean back in your chair and take in the view. You feel grateful to be here, to be experiencing this moment of tranquility. It's a beautiful morning, and you're ready to take on whatever adventures the day may bring. You step out of your hotel and into the lively streets. The first thing you notice is the energy of the city. There's people everywhere, walking and talking and laughing. The streets are narrow and winding, lined with old buildings and colourful storefronts. There are canals crisscrossing the city, with boats and gondolas floating by in every direction. Everywhere you look is something new and exciting to see. You watch as locals go about their daily lives, stopping to chat with friends or sip espresso at a sidewalk cafe. You see children running and playing in the streets, their laughter filling the air. You take your time, exploring the city at your own pace and soaking up the energy. As you continue your walk, you stumble across an incredible sight. The beautiful St. Mark's Basilica. You pause in your tracks, completely taken aback by the sheer scale and magnificence of the building before you. The architecture is astonishing, with intricate carvings covering every inch of the facade. You begin the walk up to the basilica, your footsteps echoing on the stone pavement. As you reach the steps, you look up at the soaring domes and towers above you. The size of the building is almost overwhelming, but you feel peace and serenity in the presence of such beauty. You make your way inside, the cool air and hushed tones adding to the experience. As you explore, you become curious about the history of the building and decide to learn more about its past. You learn that the basilica was first constructed in the year 832 AD, when it served as the private chapel of the Doge of Venice. Over the centuries, it was expanded and renovated many times, with new mosaics, sculptures, and decorations added to the building. The architecture is a sensational example of Venetian Byzantine style, with elements of Romanesque, Gothic, and Renaissance design mixed in. One of the most remarkable features is the external facade, which is covered in gleaming golden mosaics depicting scenes from the life of Christ and the history of Venice. The mosaics are made of tiny glass tiles, each one expertly crafted to capture the colors and details of the scene it depicts. Inside, you see the Pala d'Oro, an altarpiece made of gold and encrusted with precious gems. It's one of the most valuable pieces of art in Venice, and is said to be one of the finest examples of Byzantine enamel work in the world. As you explore further, you come across the relics of St. Mark, the patron saint of Venice, which are housed in a beautiful silver and gold reliquary. The relics were brought to Venice in the 9th century, and their presence in the basilica has made it one of the most important religious sites in the city. As you leave, you're led straight towards another noble building. The Doge's palace is an imposing structure with palatial arches and towering columns that seem to stretch endlessly into the sky. The building's Gothic architecture is striking, with carvings and detailed sculptures adorning every surface. As you make your way inside, you're greeted by a grand entrance hall where you can see the opulent decor and luxurious furnishings that were once enjoyed by the rulers of Venice. The hall is bathed in golden light, with chandeliers and sparkling mosaics illuminating the space. Your eyes are drawn to the ornate ceilings and large staircases that lead further into the palace. You can feel the weight of history and power that permeates the air, as you imagine the Doge and other Venetian leaders who once walked these halls. As you continue your journey through the palace, you come across the Grand Council Chamber, where the city's most important leaders once gathered to make decisions that would shape the future of Venice. The chamber is an impressive space with soaring ceilings and intricately carved wooden furnishings. As you explore further, you come across the secret rooms where the infamous Council of Ten would meet in secrecy to discuss the most sensitive matters of state. The rooms are dark and foreboding, with thick stone walls and hidden passageways adding to the sense of intrigue and mystery. As you leave the Doge's palace, you find yourself stepping out into the stunning St. Mark's Square. The vast open space is surrounded by magnificent historic buildings, with the famous St. Mark's Basilica towering over you. You can hear the chatter of voices and the sounds of music and laughter filling the air. You take a moment to soak in the beauty of the square, with its extraordinary architecture and bustling crowds creating an unforgettable scene. As you stroll around the square, you notice the many cafes and shops that line the area. The outdoor seating areas are filled with people enjoying a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, while others browse the shops for souvenirs and gifts to take home. Despite the crowds, St. Mark's Square is peaceful and relaxed, with a sense of tranquility that's hard to find in many other cities. You decide to take a gondola ride to the famous Rialto Bridge, one of the most iconic landmarks in Venice. As you board, you're struck by the beauty of the boat. You can see the skill and craftsmanship that went into the creation of this sleek, black vessel. The gondolier begins to expertly navigate the narrow canals, gliding smoothly through the calm waters. You can hear the gentle splash of the oar as he propels the boat forward, creating a soothing rhythm that lulls you into a state of relaxation. As you wind your way through the city's archaic waterways, you're struck by the beauty of the architecture that surrounds you. The colorful buildings with their arched windows create a mesmerizing backdrop against the blue sky and sparkling water. As you approach the Rialto Bridge, the gondolier maneuvers beneath it, giving you an impressive view of its ancient arches and stonework. You can feel the history and culture of Venice coming alive as you take in the sensational landmark. The gondolier guides the boat to a small dock where you disembark. You take a moment to appreciate the view, with the bridge towering above you and the bustling crowds of tourists milling about the area. As you walk towards the Rialto Bridge, the aged stone arches loom before you. As you make your way up the steps, you marvel at the wondrous view that greets you. The canals below are filled with colorful gondolas and water taxis, while the beautiful buildings on each side seem to rise up to meet the sky. Standing atop the bridge, you feel a sense of awe and wonder at the history and culture that surrounds you. The bridge has stood here for centuries, weathering the ravages of time and bearing witness to the many triumphs and tragedies that have shaped Venice's past. As the day turns into evening, and the sun begins to set over the canals, you find yourself sitting at a cozy restaurant by the water. The soft glow of the lamps illuminates the table and casts a warm light over your face. You peruse the menu, taking in the many delicious Venetian dishes on offer. From rich risotto to fresh seafood and delectable pasta dishes, the options are endless. You finally settle on a traditional dish of spaghetti alle vongole, with a side of grilled vegetables and crusty bread. The waiter brings out a bottle of local wine, its rich aroma filling your senses and making your mouth water. As you begin to tuck into your meal, you can taste the care and attention that went into its preparation. The perfectly al dente pasta, the succulent clams, the fresh herbs and spices. Every bite is a revelation of flavors and textures. As you sip the wine and savor the food, you watch the boats and gondolas drift on the canal, their lights twinkling in the evening darkness. It's moments like these that make Venice such a special place, a city that can captivate the senses and inspire the soul. After a relaxing and delicious meal, you wander through the streets, taking in the sights and sounds of the city at night. As you make your way through the streets, you stumble upon a trendy rooftop bar perched high above the city. The views are astounding, with twinkling lights and illuminated bridges stretching out before you. You order a cocktail and settle into a comfortable lounge chair, feeling the cool night air against your skin as you watch the city come alive beneath you. As the night deepens, you reluctantly leave the rooftop bar, carrying the memory of this experience with you. You meander through the dimly lit streets, allowing the city's secrets to unfold with each step. Returning to your hotel, you find solace in the comfort of your room. The soft glow of lamplight invites you to unwind, and you slip into a state of blissful relaxation. As the sun rises, you feel energized and ready to explore more of this magical city. You set off on a leisurely morning walk. As you make your way to Doge, You feel calmness wash over you as you leave the bustling crowds of San Marco behind. Doge is a fascinating neighborhood with a more laid-back and bohemian vibe. You stroll along the waterfront promenade, admiring the views of the Grand Canal and the beautiful palaces that line it. You pause at a small cafe to sip a creamy cappuccino, watching the passing gondolas and feeling grateful for this moment. After your coffee break, you continue your journey towards Castello, one of the largest neighborhoods in Venice. As you explore the winding streets, you discover hidden gardens, peaceful piazzas, and small artisanal shops. You take a moment to appreciate the slower pace of life in this quieter area. Excited to explore more of Venice's surrounding islands, you board a water bus that will take you to Torcello. As the boat leaves the dock and glides across the lagoon, you take in the striking views of the city's skyline and the surrounding islands. As you approach Torcello, you can't help but feel a sense of anticipation. This small island is known for its rich history, unique culture, and natural beauty. You step off the water bus and are greeted by the silence of the island. You take a deep breath of the fresh sea air and set off on your adventure. Your first stop is the Cathedral of Santa Maria Assunta, which dates back to the 7th century. Stepping through the cathedral's grand entrance, you become immersed in a world of sublime beauty. Sunlight streams through centuries-old stained glass windows, casting a kaleidoscope of colors upon the mosaic-clad walls. You stand in awe, marveling at the artistry and craftsmanship that have withstood the test of time. Leaving the cathedral, your curiosity leads you to the nearby Torcello Museum, a hidden gem that preserves the island's cultural heritage. Within its walls, a treasure trove of artifacts and artworks awaits. Delicate pottery fragments, ancient sculptures, and intricately crafted jewelry offer glimpses into the lives of those who once walked these hallowed grounds. As you wander through the exhibits, Stories of ancient civilizations come alive, connecting you to the island's past in profound ways. After spending the morning on the calm and historic island of Torcello, you board a water bus to Lido, the long, narrow island that separates the Venetian lagoon from the Adriatic Sea. As you approach Lido, you notice the island's famous sandy beaches stretching out before you. You decide to start by exploring the charming streets of the island's main town. You wander through the narrow lanes, taking in the colourful houses and small shops that line the streets. The pace of life here is a bit slower than in the crowded heart of Venice, and you enjoy the chance to take your time and soak in the atmosphere. You head towards the beach, where you take off your shoes and feel the sand between your toes. As the afternoon turns to evening, you make your way back to the main street, where you find a lively bar serving classic Venetian cocktails. You take a seat and order a spritz, watching as the locals come and go. Finally, as the sun sets over the sea, you head back to the water bus, feeling relaxed and content after a day of exploring the quieter side of Venice. As this is your last night in Venice, you decide to immerse yourself in the city's cultural scene by adding a performance at the world-renowned La Fenice Opera House. The building's ornate architecture is illuminated by soft light, casting an ethereal glow over the surrounding area. Inside, the theatre is even more impressive than you imagined. The red velvet seats, elegant chandeliers, and gold-trimmed balconies create an atmosphere of opulence and grandeur. The stage is set, and you can hear the murmur of anticipation from the audience as they settle into their seats. As the orchestra begins to play, you're transported into a world of music and emotion. The performance is a thrilling display of talent and artistry, with the singers' voices soaring to incredible heights and the musicians' instruments weaving together in perfect harmony. You're completely engrossed in the performance, swept away by the music and the story unfolding before you. As the final notes of the opera fade away, the audience erupts into applause, and you join them, feeling a sense of gratitude and wonder for this magical experience. Leaving the theatre, you stroll through the streets, the sounds of the performance still echoing in your mind. The next morning, you awaken to the bittersweet realization that it's your last day in Venice. With a twinge of melancholy, you carefully pack your bags and make your way to the hotel lobby, where a waiting water taxi stands ready to ferry you to the airport. As you step aboard, you cast one final longing gaze upon the stunning Venetian architecture and the sparkling waterways that have held you in their thrall for the past few days. As the boat gracefully glides across the lagoon, you become immersed in reflection, cherishing the extraordinary experiences you've had in this beguiling city. From your explorations of historic landmarks to your indulgence in the city's culinary treasures, this trip has gifted you a journey of a lifetime. As you prepare to depart, a new anticipation stirs within you. You feel excited about your next destination. Venice may be bidding you farewell, but the world still beckons with its countless treasures.